today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this presentation as you would a radio broadcast. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the issue of the unpreparedness of the Trump team in 2016-17 and how they were easily, almost effortlessly targeted, ambushed, and maliciously maligned, and early examples of lawfare and so on. How they were easily picked off by the deep state operatives, and how they just didn't seem to see it coming, and were strangely unprepared. Even though some of the people that were taken out claimed that they were at least suspicious of the possibility that such tactics could be used against them, but they still went down and were again easily picked off. And just General Mike Flynn in particular, they were focused on taking him out, and did so, I believe, with fully premeditated tactics of treachery, deception, deceit, and so on. And even when they launched their attack on him, the unpreparedness of the then Trump administration, Jeff Sessions and others, the unpreparedness, they just weren't prepared for it. They didn't seem to know what to do, and they almost left Flynn on his own just to look after himself. And this was a world he didn't understand. If even today, you look at General Mike Flynn's, I think it was on Tim Pool, he was being interviewed, and he seems like a really genuine guy. But even now today, I still don't think he's fully understood just how Machiavellian and treacherous the deep state is, and how they'll invent evidence, they'll make false evidence, they'll plant evidence, all this sort of stuff. And this is something that being a military man and believing in your country and your service, this sort of thing, that maybe it's a mindset that he just can't come to grips with. And given what he's been through, you can imagine that he's far more savvy to those sort of things today than he was in 2016, 2017, that it was able to spiral out of control to the extent it did, where General Flynn was, as I understand it, virtually bankrupted by the whole thing. How it happened, how it was allowed to happen, and how it was allowed to continue, and the attack against him without vigorous fight back is quite beyond me. Nonetheless, let's have a look at this idea. How well prepared is the Trump team at the moment? Now, I've got some appreciation of this, not in politics but in business. When one group, a powerful group within an organization, wants to get rid of somebody for whatever the reason, it doesn't matter. Maybe they think they can't control that guy. Maybe they think he won't be a patsy, sap, flunky stooge when ordered to be one. Maybe they think he's too honest, or maybe anything. It doesn't matter. He's an inconvenience, and he's got to be got rid of. And so now, people that are inconveniences like that have to be got rid of, they typically tend not to be dishonest people, as in committing crimes, or it's not easy to get at them because they don't live the sort of life that, they're not going to see expensive, or they're not going to see prostitutes or call girls or hooking, because that would be a nice angle of attack. They're not gay or lesbian or something, or so they're not having illicit homosexual sex out in the park. So that's not an angle of attack. They're not stealing money or fiddling their expense accounts. So that's not an angle of attack. They're not screwing one of the female staff, so that's no angle of attack there. They're not they're not grabbing the asses of the female employees. Can't do that. So there isn't an angle of attack that's easy. So because of that, you have to invent one. Now, I would speculate that I'm not purporting to. I don't know General Flynn, by the way, but I would suspect that General Flynn was pretty close to the squeaky clean, so that there wasn't any easy way they could get it in. So they had to invent one. So now one of the dangers, and this was something as a younger guy I fell for a few times, is you get you'll get a little internal call. Oh, Billy Bob, yeah, we're just having. Have you got a minute? Just a minute. It's only take a minute. Can you come in? And then you come in and find that it's the heavies and the goons with their lawyers and everything are there, and it's an ambush. It's a fucking ambush. So they get you in here. Just a minute, just a quick chat. Can you just come on? Just a minute. And they don't tell you. Or even as another way that they go about it here is they invite you to a meeting. And if you're someone like me, you say, okay, well, sure, happy to come to the meeting, and it could be your boss, so you're kind of obligated to do, to some extent, do what you're told, or it could be the company's legal counsel. So again, you feel a sense of obligation to turn up to them. So what's the meeting about? Look, I can't tell you over the phone. What do you mean you can't tell me over the phone? Oh, yeah, look, it's easier if you just come in. No, what, you can't even give an inkling what it's about? No, not really. Well, why don't you just come along? Well, who else is going to be there? I'm not really sure. I don't know. Why don't you just turn up and you'll find out yourself? Now, to me now, with my experience in the world of business, that alarm bells then go off in all directions. Now, they tend to be more violent and aggressive, as in concocting stuff and out to get you if there's nothing that they can use against you. If you're having homosexual sex around the park every day, or you're going to hookers, or you're screwing one of the women in the company, it's easy. They can get you. They can compromise you, and they say, look, you're screwed, buddy. We're going to put this out there, and it'll be all over the newspapers. You'll be disgraced. You'll be publicly embarrassed. What would your wife think? What are your kids going to think? So you better do what we want. Otherwise, so when you're that compromised, you kind of have to go along. Okay, all right then. Well, what do you want me to do? Well, you have to do this, this, and this. They've got you. You're easy to control. But when you're squeaky clean, then they can't get you, and that's where they've got to then break the law and do all sorts of high-handed, treacherous things to get you. And that means they're putting themselves. No, they'd rather not do it. They'd rather you were an easy target. But there's two things: you're squeaky clean. They want to get rid of you, and they have to invent shit. And they don't really want to go that far because then there's a lot of people involved in that conspiracy. A lot of people have to agree to it, sign off on it, be involved in it, and so on. And they have to be reasonably sure you can't get back at them and they can get away with it. If they thought they were seriously exposed, they wouldn't do it. So they've got to think they get away. Now, if you look at the way they went after General Flynn General Mike Flynn in the early, this is I think Trump had even taken office when they first came after him. Now, General Flynn's already said, and I think it was in the Tim Pool interview, but has already said that he was a bit of an outsider because of some of his views on intelligence about the Middle East and conflicts and so on. That he was. He departed, if you like, from the official script, and that meant the deep state was out to get him. And he was already sort of saying that. So why he fell so easily into the FBI trap is a little bit beyond me. But as I understand it, he turns up to the meeting with the FBI alone. There's 2 or 3 FBI agents, and there's Flynn. They just do this. I just want to have a quick chat. Just a minute, just a quick chat. Now, whenever you hear that, never, ever go along to those meetings. Do not do it. You go with a witness. The White House legal counsel should have been there, you record it, and you have a witness. Never go to those meetings alone, because there's 2 of them. They can say you said this and did that, and there's only 1 of you and 2 of them. So 3 of them, or however many there were. so never go along to those meetings. It is an ambush. Now Flynn, in my view, should have been at least aware of that possibility and prepared accordingly. The idea that you meet these people, no, don't do it. So that was, in my view, that was a premeditated, treacherously premeditated beginning of a pre-planned move to take out Flynn and remove him from the chessboard. Now, once they've gone down the path of concocting evidence, or inventing it, or planting it, or whatever the case may be, then the spiraling has already begun. Now, at this point, when the spiral begins, there's a possibility they could lose control of it, and that's the only time you have to, if not recover the situation, certainly make sure it's a situation that they don't have control of, so that the cards are now falling where they may, rather than falling in neat sequence that they can use against you. So this is very important. Now, I've been in situations, or observed them up close, where, and I've mentioned these in other videos, where there's a major insurance fraud the company wants to engage in. And it's done in conjunction with the insurance company, and it's all, people are getting backhanders left, right, and centre. But it's a major insurance fraud, many millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. And for example, this is I'm just illustrating a thing here, and I'll use bits of personal experience as I narrate this part. But there's a guy there who just happens to be in a position, and you want him to sign off, and he's got to sign off on something that will be either instrumental or pivotal, or a mandatory requirement before you can do the. Now you want him. If everything goes wrong, you want him to take the fall. You don't want to put one of your buddies in there, so you want him to take the fall if everything goes wrong. But you don't want him to know what's going on. Now he won't sign off. He spotted a few irregularities, and he won't sign off on it. He points out the irregularities. He comes to you. The boss, he comes to the CEO and says, look, these irregularities are a real problem. You can't tell him what you're doing, so you've got to nod sagely. Oh, yeah, that's a real problem, Billy Bob. But then you think, holy crap, Billy Bob's going to work it out. He's going to work it out pretty soon. He's putting all the stuff together. Before too many more days go by, the penny's going to drop, and he's going to work out that there's a major fraud and that we're involved in it. So we got to get rid of Billy Bob. Now they've got to get rid of him under a cloud, because now they're not quite sure what he knows, and so they can't just say give him a promotion or move him into another job. That's not going to work now. He knows he's gone too far. He knows too much. So they decide that, hey, we've got to get rid of Billy Bob, and so there's a set amount of things they do. So they sit around the table, and again, I've been at these sort of meetings. They sit around the table and say, "Well, is Billy Bob having intimate relations with any of the female staff?" Oh, no, I don't think so. Well, can you at least ask? Can you check on that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he isn't. And okay, well, look, try and find some. Is he harassing any of the staff? Is he grabbing any of the women around him, prepared to sign a sworn statement that he's grabbed their ass or something like that? I don't know. I can ask. Okay, we'll check on that. What about his expense account? Have we looked at that? So okay, go through his expense account with a fine tooth comb. There's got to be something on there that we can use against him. It's against the company policy to fiddle your expense account. So let's have a look at that. What about his internet search history? He's got to have spent time looking at online porn, hasn't he? Everybody's doing that. Can't we have a look at his internet search history and get something on? Anyway, they come back. Here's the next meeting. They come back saying, look, if he has filled his expense account, it's like a cup of coffee here, a cup of coffee there, but it appears nothing's been filled. No woman's prepared to speak out against him. They say that he's polite and well behaved, and he's never said or done anything that would be untoward, or No, he's not having intimate relations with any female member of staff. What about a male? No, not that either. Okay, his internet searching? No, he's never gone to porn sites or anything like that. Oh, okay. All right, then. Well, we've got nothing on him. We're going to have to invent something. Okay, let's now go to entrapment. So this is then the next level. So they'll they'll move his say he's got a PA or something like that, or an executive assistant. They'll move her off to another area, citing some sort of requirements, and then they'll plant somebody there, and that person is there to try and get him to act inappropriately, to say or do something, or maybe to begin intimate relations. So they'll find some hot chick from a modeling agency, and she'll be told to wear short dresses and tight-fitting clothes, plunging necklines, and to bat her eyelids at him and try and get him to, she's going to have stories about, she's not dating anyone and she's so horny or something like that type of thing, and try and get him to act inappropriately. So that's okay, we'll get him. Have you seen that babe we're going to put with him? She is smoking hot. There's no way he's not going to try and fuck her. But he doesn't. He's a good family man, all this sort of stuff. He's not taking the bait. Gee, all right then. Well, can we get her to tear her blouse and then come running out of the room screaming, saying that he tried to rape her? Yeah, we had to talk to her about that. She won't do that. We can't. Well, can we offer some money to? No, she's just not interested. She seems like she likes the guy. He's a well-behaved guy. He's very polite to her and so on. No, she's not. No, she just won't do that. All right then. Well, he's taking a flight on the company plane from one of the offices to another. So what we'll do is we'll put some sexy chick next to him on the plane. We'll make sure that's the seating plan, that he gets to sit next to her, and that we've got a security guy there who's sitting just on the other side of the aisle in the airplane. And the girl's going to jump up and say, he touched me inappropriately and he grabbed my ass or grabbed my breast or something. And then the security guy will have no choice but to jump in and protect the little woman and make sure he's held to account and put him in handcuffs or something, that sort of thing. So then they try that, but that doesn't work either. So they're running out of things. So what they do is they then fabricate an email. So they get an email saying that he uses various profanities. This is an email that they've written, but that they somehow managed to put into his, if it's like a sent from his email, where he uses a series of profanities denouncing a fellow employee. And so they then are able to say, well, this is very, very serious. Look, using profanities on the company. Oh, well, this is a sacking offence, and this is a. So they then they fire the guy and threaten him with dire consequences, and he protests. Well, that's not. I never sent that email. Well, here it is. It's on your email. It's on your email server. It must be you. Are you now lying to it? Anyway, they managed to get rid of. So these are the sort of things that they do. So there's there's almost no limit to what they'll do when they're out to get someone and get them out the way. Now, when you're talking about many billions of dollars involved in government contracts of all sorts, then someone that might get in the way of that, anything, nothing's off the table in terms of getting them. And this is, I think, the view that the Trump administration needs to just be aware of, not to the point of paranoia, although that would be easy, not to the point of paranoia, but if you get that phone call from any government agent, oh, you got a minute? Just a minute, just a minute. I just want a minute. I'll be coming by. Just give me 1 minute. That type of thing, where they just try and do it quickly and get you off guard, so you're not prepared or ready for it. You're not suspecting anything. That's the key. Get you into a meeting where you're not suspecting anything. Bam-o. That's where they and how they do it. And don't sell these guys short. They do this sort of engage in this sort of treachery for a living. That's their job, for fuck's sake. So just be aware that, and if there is any of this, don't go into the meetings without witnesses. maybe White House counsel or deputy counsel, these sort of things, and be prepared. And the minute you see that the attack, the ambush is starting to be put together, immediately go into a counterstrike, and put them off their guard. And this is the level, I think, of preparedness that the Trump administration needs, that they did not have the first time around. You look at Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General in the first administration, who seems like a good man, by the way. He was constantly looking like a deer in the headlights, and staggering from one drama to the next, never quite able to regain the initiative or get back on the front foot. So be aware of this Trump administration and prepare accordingly. You've been with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.